I think this could be very positive for our society and economy.
Positive indeed, Mark. Up until now, if you've liked how Facebook has controlled your online experience with our algorithms that have proven to be harmful, addictive, and divisive, then you'll love handing Facebook control of your entire life. Have you ever watched The Matrix and wondered, how'd the bad guys get those people into the pods and plugged into the Matrix in the first place? Well, your question will be answered as you're plugging yourself into the metaverse. Why would you want to dedicate your life to building success for yourself when you could sacrifice your life and help build success for a giant company that you trust with dangerous business practices?
Privacy and safety need to be built into the metaverse from day one.
That's right, Mark. But some Facebook skeptics have had concerns about our privacy violations, but we're proud to say we've solved all those concerns with the metaverse, as it completely eliminates privacy.
Yeah, that's literally happening. I got nothing else to say. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Rudowski here of WeAreChange.org, and we have a lot of absolutely crazy news to get into, as, of course, more people are getting arrested for simply trying to eat. This, of course, also affects little children and even moviegoers that are being interrupted during their movies to get their identification and private medical records checked by the authorities that will punish them if they don't have them in order. This could be one reason why the Biden administration has finally come out and said that they do not have a federal solution towards this. Is this true? Is this their last stop on this insanity train? Well, we're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more. Also, of course, with the latest psyopses and larger traps against humanity, which were perfectly depicted by, of course, the one and only Awaken with JP that did an incredible video about the metaverse and the future 2030 reality that a lot of billionaires want you living in. His critique of their vision was absolutely brilliant. We played a small clip of his full video. The full video is linked down in the description below. Definitely go check out his work and subscribe to his channel. He does absolutely incredible work that is becoming more prophetic by the day, as of course this technocratic reality is becoming more and more unavoidable, as we have this latest article from the Daily Mail that is talking about a paralyzed man that just used an implantable microchip that was able to tweet out a message just using his own mind. Yes, Philip O'Keefe, 62 years of age from Australia, used a stent-trode brain-computer interface and directly turned his thought into a text that he tweeted out to the world. The tweet saying, quote, "No need for keystrokes or voices. I created this tweet just by thinking it. Hashtag Hello World BCI. BCI stands for, of course, Brain Computer Interface. Now, with technology advancing very quick, there will, of course, be cases where it will help people out tremendously. But just like any kind of technology, it has a double-edged sword, and there's a big probability that, of course, it will be used for sinister means by very powerful people that routinely abuse their positions of authority. In related people with authority abusing their power news, the Daily Mail also produced exclusive photos as they were just able to locate a man who is believed to be an FBI plant that clearly was documenting inciting the Capitol riots on January 6th, clearly was acting like a major provocateur, has not faced any legal repercussions for this, and if the Daily Mail could track them down, of course the FBI could as well. Why haven't they? Why haven't they brought charges when clearly he was responsible for a lot of the damage there? Well, of course, that raises a lot of questions that, of course, still go unanswered. In related federal agents abusing power news, we, of course, have this latest bombshell announcement from the judge in the Ghislaine Maxwell trial that says that this extremely important court proceeding is, quote, put at risk, and they may not be able to complete this trial because of the overwhelming surge of a sickness in New York City. We're going to be talking about this surge in just a little bit, but with the jury deliberating here with this very important court proceeding, we might have to deal with more interruptions for potential justice for the thousands of innocent children that were hurt here, which to me is absolutely ridiculous, as of course the FBI for over 30 years sat on their hands ignored witnesses, and essentially, in many instances, aided and abetted some of the worst atrocious activities that could potentially be done to children, all in the name of a larger government-connected extortion operation that was able to do whatever they wanted to do. And as the FBI knowingly, now almost routinely, ignores the hurting of children in unspeakable ways, they have just set their sights on what people are calling Delta Karen, who's comparing herself to Rosa Parks after violently attacking a man and spitting on him, all in the name of fighting a sickness because he wasn't wearing a mask, while of course she wasn't wearing a mask. Now what she did was outrageous, ridiculous, uncalled for, but to have the FBI involved here is a little ridiculous here, especially when their resources could be going towards helping innocent children being hurt, but the resources are going trying to get justice from Delta Karen, which is ridiculous. Again, lots of crazy propaganda out there. We're going to be going into that even more extensively on LukeUncensored.com, our very own platform. If you haven't signed up for it yet, what are you waiting for? Click the link down in the description below. As of course, today we're going to be going over a lot of very important latest news that we can't talk about on this broadcast, but also specifically, I will be talking about my predictions of how I see this going in the future, where we will be in 1 month, 3 months. How will this unfold? I have a theory, which I think you might find interesting. That video will be available for you later on today, all exclusively on LukeUncensored.com. One of the easiest ways to get it is, of course, to sign up on our free email list. We always notify everyone that a video has come out on YouTube and on our own platform in one email, very conveniently available to you in another distribution platform that, of course, can't be stopped. Now, what can be stopped? Your ability to eat food in New York City, as, of course, we're getting these latest crazy videos from Leroy Press highlighting yet again major incidences in New York City where the NYPD has mobilized a huge unit of police officers to go after people who wanted to have a meal at Burger King. Yes, I'm not kidding you. It's like the 1950s all over again, as people are staging sit-ins in major restaurants all over New York City. They're told to show their government permission papers in order to do so. They're refusing to do it, and because of that, police officers are arresting them and sending them off to jail. This is, of course, highlighting what we've been warning about from the very beginning, that yes, police officers will enforce egregious laws no matter what they are, as, of course, their jobs are a lot more important to them than, of course, your civil rights or even your human rights. As in New York City, you can't even get a GMO Whopper if you don't have the right government permission paperwork to do so. And it's not just activists that are staging some of these sit-ins that are being affected here. It's also, of course, children that are being selected, as, of course, the mandates in New York City predominantly also affect children of all people. As this video clearly shows, police officers telling this young child that he can no longer eat because he didn't get a procedure and the right government paperwork. In Paris, we're getting reports of the police even being more egregious, interrupting a movie showing, specifically of The Matrix, in order to check everyone's identifications and government permission slips that are tied to their private medical records. Now, if this is not just infuriating, imagine being at the movies, enjoying a form of entertainment, getting away from the world, the lights come on, and these Gestapo, jackboot, obese thugs who clearly don't give a damn about their health, who clearly have neglected their well-being, are checking your government paperwork all in the name of health. It's infuriating and absolute ridiculous, and that is a society that I refuse to live in or even participate in, as of course this should be a learning lesson to everyone, especially if you follow history, which is riddled with atrocities because men blindly follow orders, especially when they put on uniforms. Who do these people in uniforms listen to? Well, they listen to the people calling the shots, people like Bill Gates, who have a huge influence, who, of course, are heavily invested in this entire thing, that have a lot to profit off of. This is the same individual that gave hundreds of millions of dollars to the corporate media, where, of course, he routinely makes appearances on pushing his propaganda and ideas unquestionably. As recently, he was even seen smirking, laughing, and seen enjoying himself when Anderson Cooper was talking about withholding people's social security if they didn't take a private product that the government wanted them to take. Fauci, of course, collaborates with Bill Gates extensively, as shown through many email exchanges. Fauci as well, another media darling, again on CNN, just admitting that the mandates that they push against people, that discriminate against people, that segregate them in society is, quote, just a mechanism to get more people to buy the product that he wants them to take. A product that even the New York Times is talking about how ineffective it is and might even be counterintuitive and potentially hurting people with this overall sickness. A lot of people are waking up to the true realities of this insanity, and I think this is why the President of the United States just announced and admitted that there is no federal solution to this sickness. This, as of course he was talking to governors all throughout the United States, specifically clarifying that this is a state's issue. And for the first time in a long time, I have to admit, Joe Biden made the right decision here. There's a slurry of evidence suggesting this. It took him a very long time to do this. This should have been the policy from the very beginning, as the federal government has been absolutely incompetent and inept, whether it's testing, whether it's having the proper medical facilities. Even when it came to doing the basic, smallest amount of things, they have absolutely failed, and with many of their efforts, there's arguments to make that they created a worse off situation, which of course I would argue is absolutely correct. Centralized power is ripe with abuse. Decentralizing that power, allowing the states and local jurisdictions to decide for themselves what is right for them, is to me the right move here to make. And finally, Biden did something right here. Now, of course, a lot of people are calling him out on his hypocrisy, on his failures, as, of course, he promised to shut down and stop this sickness when he has done almost the exact opposite of that. More cases, more deaths, more sicknesses under his administration than the previous one. And, of course, a lot of people question if that was done deliberately or not. I'm going to be answering that question later on today. But whether it was deliberate or accidental, the government has failed here at all costs. The true depths of how much they failed, how much they hurt you, will still be figured out years from now, as of course when we find out exactly what was happening right now. In a few years from now, I believe we are going to be absolutely shocked, as of course even major athletic institutions like the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, which have an extremely high concentration of healthy athletic individuals, have all implemented mandates for this procedure. Most of these athletic institutions are 95 to 100% compliant with taking this procedure. And yet, all of these three major sport leagues are dealing with record high cases. How's that happening? What's going on here? As Israel is even implementing the fourth procedure on individuals, which, according to the New York Times, has some scientists warning that too many of these shots, too many of these procedures might actually harm the body's ability to fight this sickness. But according to the New York Times, some Israeli experts say that there isn't time to wait, which is an absolutely ridiculous statement, as of course they might be implementing a procedure that might be potentially making more people sick and die. And those to me aren't experts, they're reckless individuals that are prioritizing private profit of big pharma over, of course, the overall well-being and health. If you don't know about a certain situation, you don't rush head first into it. You don't mandate, you don't push this on people, you don't extort and manipulate people, you don't threaten to take away their social security or their ability to fly in this country in order to do so. That is sick, despotic behavior, and there are a lot of scientists that are questioning the prevailing logic, that are questioning Bill Gates, that are questioning Dr. Fauci, who clearly have a bottom line here, who clearly want you to do one thing surrounding this, and of course their voices matter, as of course the places that have complied the most, like New York City, are right now responsible for 25% of all of the sickness cases for this entire country. Now imagine, as Carol Markovits points out, if this was Florida, the media would be absolutely in up in arms, losing their ish in propaganda fever, trying to, of course, convince you how Florida is bad, when in reality, the places that are the worst off are the places that complied the most. Let that be a lesson for everyone. The government failed here. What happened here? Was it potentially deliberate? Will it get a lot worse from here? Well, I'm going to be talking about my future predictions on lukeuncensored.com. I hope to see you guys later there today, releasing another very important video on our own platform. But overall, I think it's absolutely clear that our fear is their power, as perfectly portrayed on this protest sign in England. Don't be afraid. There's a lot of things to be optimistic about, as of course we talked about in yesterday's videos. I do believe we're in a major transition phase. Will it transition in our favor? Overall, I think so. But hey, there also might be aliens coming, as the NSA just literally hired religious experts to predict how humans may react to aliens. So yeah, there's that. Life's interesting. It's not boring. I love you guys. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys actively watching and sharing these videos, and just truly being absolutely humbled and grateful for you guys spending time with me. I love you guys. Stay tuned for a lot more here on wearechange.org.